Yo, today I've been trying to figure out some environmental art stuff. I've gotten painting leaves and foliages on these cliffs working fairly well. I have it blending uh, too on the alpha. And they come off a little, so it's like off the edge there. The underside has some shadowing. I haven't looked at that yet. And I made it sway a little bit in the wind, and we can change those values too. So all I'm doing for that, basically, I tried to make it work so that I could just paint on here and have them stick out as well. But what I ended up having to do was make a duplicate of the same mesh and then paint it on here, because I could not use the alpha on here or else the actual wall would be see-through, through vertex painting at least. So this is what ended up working fair enough. The downside of that is it would take longer to put it in place. Before, you could probably do it in just a couple seconds, and now you have to spend, I don't know, maybe up to 2 minutes like duplicating it, scaling it up a little, sliding it out, and then turning off the lighting, indirect lighting, and collision, just so that it's more efficient. So there's just a couple more steps involved. And again, this is vertice based, so that's why it has these sort of hard edges, is because when I modeled this stuff in Maya, there's not a lot of vertices, as you can see as I go around. So that's fine. The only thing is it's going to make it a little more jagged. And we'll probably have some other actual foliage that we place in here too. But for a starting point, I think this is pretty good. It looks a lot better than the grandma wallpaper, at least. I also started looking into the mud. So if I go into here, I think it was in red. If I start painting in red, or painting black and red, that would be like the mud texture there. So obviously the texture I can still work on, but it does make it darker in some areas. Not exactly muddy, but it does add a lot of variety to it for sure. And I added a lot more metallic to these. It's a little hard to see, but because it's kind of subtle. Might be easier out here in the sun. I toned it down way hard too, though, because it was looking quite shiny. Okay, that must be the mud, or the right here. Okay, no, it's these. So yeah, these values I can play with too. We can add like certain amounts of gloss to the muddy parts of it too. Obviously, -1 is not really cutting it there, and also the metallic plays a huge role in that. The one thing about this that was looking kind of ugly was the lines and the cracks at certain angles. Just look like white lines when you crank the metallic up so high. You can kind of see it over here. But that does make it look wetter, which is helpful. Maybe I'll bump that up to like 0.4 maybe. So it does make it feel a bit wetter. There's all these values here to play with it, of course. Oh, not that one. It's this one. But that negative gives some funny results. That's crazy. Yeah, I'll leave it as is for now though, because I still need to like, I still feel like I need to do something to the texture to make it stand out more than it does now. Right now it's just helpful for making variation. It's not helpful for much else. I also did, before I did the leaves this way, I tried to just paint them on flatly. Oh, Unreal just crashed. No way. Okay, so as I was saying, I was painting on the walls. Let's turn that music off. Before I wanted to make it pop out a little, so I do still have the textures for when I had it on the walls too. So it is also right now what I did in here though is this vertex green, which was them. If I were to set this, you'll see why I changed it to be just the normal one again. I would have to paint around the whole level because there's just vertex green like all over the place in the vertex colors. So it would take a lot of time to like paint this stuff. It does get a good idea of like just like looking at it at a glance what it could look like, a little more leafy, but I think the actual leaf texture itself still needs some work. I think it's a little too bright right now. It stands out a little too much, I think. So I'll probably work on that more too. But I have it set up now to where I can just start putting textures in. I'm going to bring that back to where it was though, so that we don't have to look at that. That was kind of fancy. Okay, also yesterday I sort of worked on this area just a little bit more to get it more complete. It was kind of empty and pointless down here, so I made it less. Now this alternative route is a little more fun to go on. You can jump on top of this little overhang for this, could be like a storage area to get up to here. I also added a ledge right here so that they could also climb up right there if they were inclined to do so. And I also added this secret tunnel here with another minor collectible. That way there's actual point to falling down besides just being punished. I threw a little guy here because why not? Gives it a little more tension down there. A little more to avoid too. And then I added these two archways sort of here just to kind of imply that this is kind of like a little side room just to get up to that higher elevation, and just to like add to the actual environment a little bit. And it was also to add another alternative route to getting up here because, you know, for people who have experience playing these games, this is nothing. They honestly, they can just like jump straight up here without even having to worry about any of this. Average players could probably jump on each platform just fine, but players that are not quite there yet, through playtesting, I've seen that this is a little challenging. Even just like jumping on a platform that moves is a little challenging for some people. So there is this alternative route here if they get frustrated and like turn around and discover it, where they can just climb up to the top of this and walk up. It's just another option that can be done, which is nice to have. Then this is all unchanged here. It's just the iguana guy and then bottomless pit just so you can figure out how to maneuver around through there. So I changed that up a little bit. It definitely looks a little bit better now than it did. And hopefully the rest of the level will also get there and will also look better than it does now. We'll get there. We'll get there. That's about it for now. I'm going to keep working on the textures here and see what I can get. Maybe I'll increase the wind on this a little bit more. It's kind of slow and hard to notice. Maybe something like that. Or is it doing LOD? What's going on there? Oh, I'll play with that.